logistical nightmare trying to get help to these people, if, whether it's what the United States provides or other countries or just the government of Japan and the people of Japan. The infrastructure is destroyed in that part of the country, and they're saying they have just to get the basics of water for survival, and a little bit of food is almost impossible.
Yeah, what we're hearing, though, is it's sort of a checkerboard thing. So a couple of our Fox crews drove through, 100, 150 miles of completely untouched road and towns and rural areas and forest, and then they get to a couple of towns near the coast that have just been scraped away. So it really was a hit and miss thing. Depends on the water, the good old path of least resistance, as we learned back in fifth grade physics. Those of us paying attention.
Sure.
So there are some places unaffected. Tokyo was shaken up and a few cracks here and there, but Tokyo is reasonably unaffected. The major cities to the north, as you go farther north along that east coast, that's where the real devastation is.
All the way up to Sendai and a lot of other cities and towns as well. Before I let you go, Rich, in official Washington today, is there anything that you can tell us about what we may be hearing from the president, members of Congress, perhaps Hillary Clinton at the State Department, about the effort to help Japan?
I'm sure we will hear more about exactly what units are being mobilized, what expertise they're drawing upon. I have a feeling those requests are going to keep on coming from Tokyo as they learn more. Right now, they're just really scrambling to find survivors. And as we've known from Katrina, we knew from the '89 San Francisco quake, they were finding people alive, a week after they gave up. And so there are people down there, and they're struggling to stay alive, and it's going to be quite a struggle to find them. And that, I think, is the highest priority right now.
Thank you, Rich Johnson, Fox News, Washington. Always a pleasure to have you on the show, and thank you so much.
You bet. Thanks.
You bet. 8:11 here on BHL. We're going to be focusing on the Central Florida aspect of all of this, because it was pretty frightening to think that we have folks here who are working at Tokyo Disney, which was shaken up. We've also got college kids over there from schools like UCF and Stetson. And, of course, I would have to imagine, although I don't know specifically, we may well have some servicemen and women who would be on board the carrier Ronald Reagan that sailed through the radioactive cloud, and perhaps involved in the relief efforts associated with the helicopter missions and the choppers returning covered with radioactive dust. So this is uncharted territory, and now when you hear that they're unable to cool down that reactor and it is exposed, and you begin to contemplate the nuclear power nightmare of a meltdown, the news continues to become more dramatic and more concerning, if that is possible, by the minute and by the hour. We'll stay on it and talk with you about it all as we continue an update on the situation with those Central Florida folks who've been over there in Japan as we roll on at 8:12. Real-time traffic and weather together on the twos. And, you know, I had the family in from out of town over the weekend, and they were saying, oh, Dad, man, you're still looking good. And you know, they know how much I love the MetaFast program. I got some MetaFast shakes in the refrigerator, and I kind of mix them into my regular diet now that I'm on maintenance. And I feel terrific on MetaFast. I can't say enough good things about this amazing program. And so many of you have followed in the footsteps of the incredible shrinking Budman and lost weight and reached your goal, whether it's losing 20 pounds or 200 pounds. I hear great stories, success stories all the time, and it is so gratifying. The MetaFast weight loss program at your MetaFast center with help from your MetaFast counselor, it was the key for me, and I believe it will be for you. This is such a healthy way and fast way to lose weight. It's all been developed by doctors. It's so nutritious, recommended by 20,000 doctors since 1980, including my doctor. I lost 75 pounds in 6 months. You can lose 2 to 5 pounds a week, up to 2 to 5 pounds a week. I want you to get on the phones to your MetaFast weight control center right now and ask them more and get on this program. I think you're going to be amazed. The first call is yours. They'll take it from there. Your MetaFast Center, 1-888-9-METAFAST, 1-888-9-METAFAST, 1-888-9-MEDIFAST. Couple of new MetaFast centers located in Lake Mary and Winter Park, so convenient for you, and online, metafastflorida.com. Dr. Ken Kronhaus from Lake Cardiology, home of the Bud Scan, cutting-edge heart scan technology. That is where you want to be for all things heart care related. This man and his staff are absolutely unique and remarkable. I mean, they saved my life with this heart scan that nobody else had before they had it. Doc knew it could save lives. It's a real medical breakthrough. He calls it the Bud Scan in my honor. I want you to investigate this. Just because you think you may be fine, your heart's okay because you don't have any symptoms of heart trouble, may not necessarily be true. That's exactly where I was. But Doc says half the people in America, the first sign they have of heart trouble is a heart attack that they do not survive. So heart disease can come out of nowhere and take you out and be something that's a silent killer. with no symptoms and no sign of warning. This is why you need the Bud scan to intervene and show definitively what's going on inside your ticker. We all want you around for the long haul, so how about calling Lake Cardiology, home of the Bud scan, and asking if the Bud scan that saved my life might be right for you. I mean, it's got to be worth a phone call when we're talking your home, your house, forgive me, when we're talking about your heart and your life. Give them a call today in the Budman's Best, please. Lake Cardiology, 352-735-1400. 352-735-1400. More on the website for you. Keyword Bud Scan. Few things are more frightening than to have a loved one in harm's way halfway around the world. All the news we have to tell you about Central Floridians in Japan when the quake hit, the resultant tsunami, and, of course, now all the damage to those nuclear reactors and a potential, and this is the breaking news that's just in this hour, a potential meltdown underway at least one of the reactors. 9 of 13 Stetson University graduate students who were in Japan at the time of the earthquake and tsunami arrived home yesterday. The last 4 due back in today. Apparently, everybody's safe. UCF students in Japan. The University of Central Florida had 4 students and a faculty member in Japan, and all of them are reportedly safe. 2 of the students were studying there for the semester on an exchange program. The other 2 students, it is reported, visiting for spring break week, and they're all going to be okay. Although it's interesting, it is reported that fate may have intervened on behalf of the 2 spring breakers. They were apparently supposed to be in a subway heading to their hotel when the earthquake hit, but they weren't because they got lost trying to find their way to the subway. Goodness knows whether that might have been what saved them. And, of course, we have a number of Disney employees who are working over at Tokyo Disney, and they only had minor damage that got shook up pretty good in Tokyo there, but nothing substantial because they're about 260 miles away from the epicenter out in the sea to the east of Japan and to the northeast of Tokyo. So there is some encouraging news there. The most disturbing thing now is just the number of people who are missing and the fact that they continue to find bodies in huge numbers washing up on shore from the devastating tsunami that hit only moments after the big 9.0 quake of last Friday afternoon. And now the wild card, of course, may be the greatest nuclear power plant disaster in the history of the country. When you're talking about a potential meltdown now, that the seawater has not been able to cool down those rods, and they are exposed, and that's one of 5 plants that are in varying degrees of serious trouble. And the scramble is on to save those plants from meltdowns and to save as many people as they can, and to recover all of those who have not survived, and also to find food and water for the folks who were just out there with no infrastructure and no way to get things to them. Prayers for the people of Japan, please, and your phone calls welcome. How are you reacting to what has happened and what you have seen over the weekend? And do you agree with me that you can stick a fork in the nuclear power industry in this country because it is done? Politically, it will be impossible for I can't tell you how long to build another nuclear power plant in this country. That's the way it always works here. We got a huge knee-jerk, whether it's warranted or not, and things that need to happen for the good of the country do not. See the oil drilling into energy independence situation for details, right? 407-916-5400. Your calls welcome. 822 real-time traffic and weather together on the twos. All right, sunny and 79 today, working our way into the mid-50s here in Central Florida on a beautiful Monday morning. We had the family in from out of town over the weekend. We had a wonderful reunion, but I got to tell you, it was hard to really fully enjoy everything when your heart is aching every time you watch the television set for these people whose lives have been just completely devastated.